Hey, John Matz from Ecklund Motorsports Appleton. We're going to highlight some of the differences going from what they call now, I suppose, a Generation 1 chassis of a Can-Am Outlander to the new chassis. And, why don't you take the camera and just kind of pan around, because there's a lot of things besides, just the headlights, the way that they redid the fender, the wheel. I noticed there's quite a difference on the shock angle and things like that. You've got an exposed engine here, and actually here you've got the hand grips for the passenger actually, mounted to the steel racks. Racks used to be steel. So yeah, just go ahead and go around the 2012 unit, and just check it out. The battery used to hang off the back, and for all the hardcore Outlander guys, I mean, this is all kind of, they're up to speed on this. And when we go to a 2013 in what they call the G2 frame. When you get a sec here, the first thing that I cannot emphasize enough is the headlights. They easily are the best headlights on a production 4x4 quad today. It's Bombardier estimates that you have to invest roughly $300 to $400 into your headlight system on any other ATV to get something similar to this, and I got to say I'd actually believe it, because when you come off of any other quad, it doesn't matter what it is, and you go to these projector beam headlights, it's like you're driving your Ford F-Series home and you borrow your wife's Cadillac that has those newer headlights on it. I mean, it really is that big of a difference. If you go into the wheel well, you'll see they call it anti-dive control suspension geometry. The shocks are now all angled, from top to bottom. They're angled at a forward angle, and what they've done, I think they've achieved the closest thing to perfection in the industry, which is, you can do a softer spring rate, you can get a decent ride, but when you whack the brakes, or if you're going over gnarly stuff, you're not bottoming out all the time. They're getting the closest to that perfect area where it's not too soft and it's not too firm, which is just really fantastic. If you zoom in on the wheel here, they've reduced unsprung weight and kind of updated the style of the wheel. It's stronger. It's a stronger aluminum alloy wheel, and it's also lighter. And actually, if you look just beyond, you'll see it is outboard brakes. They went to outboard. They've always had the inboard. They just swore by that. But the nice thing is, in wheel now, and there's just one disc on the back axle, but dual disc in the front, and the new master cylinder for the up on the handlebar. The brakes don't make that creak anymore that we used to get out of the Can-Ams. There's none of that creakiness, and they just hook up right away. It just feels great. So the brakes, I just can't say enough about the brakes. Drastically improved. And you can also see here, they've kind of closed off the engine. A lot of people, they commented on it. It's just getting so hot there. I've got to put my feet up and all this other stuff. Those days are gone. It's all composite now with heat shields, and it just kind of forms this tunnel. You don't have to worry about cooling. But this tunnel just takes the heat and just extracts it straight back. So that works out just a lot better. The gear shift, we always used to have to rock it, maybe jiggle it a little bit if it was cold. You absolutely do not need to do that anymore. It just, I mean, even while it's not running, it just goes right into gear right away. And the other thing too is that the turning radius is easily the tightest of any, just about any quad out there. I mean, you can almost bring the bars almost, vertically. And the reason they can do that is the Visco lock, the mechanically engaging diff that can switch back and forth, they can split it and it can turn, a lot tighter. It's just a really tight turning radius. Mechanical diff, no serviceability on that at all. We just, we never really, I don't think we've replaced one yet. We just do the diff fluid on them, and that's all they seem to need, which is really nice. So those have been holding up really well. Coming back to things like the rack and the back storage, this is kind of cool. You can, we used to have this storage compartment that was kind of, if you put something on here, you can't get it. Well, now they did this. You can access it. You can have whatever you want up on the top. You've got this is an XT package, so you've got the winch remote here. I believe it's 15 feet of cable. Of course, winch owners mandated. They've also increased the volume. They call this, I believe, 5.6 gallons worth of storage. And on another note, the gas tanks on the G2s are bigger too. It's 5.4 gallons of gas. And they went to composite racks, and so many of us are like, oh, steel racks, are the best. But you know what? You get one little scratch in the finish, they rust right away. So those days are gone. And then they did this brilliant factory attachment system that they refer to as Link. It's on the Skidoos as well, and you just turn this like little cam, and I mean that's it. I mean this thing, when it's fastened, it's just on there tight. I mean it's on there super tight, and when you undo it, you know, there's nothing mechanical about it at all. It's just, you know, no tools, no nothing. It comes right off. This is their new answer to the secondary storage, that when the seat comes out, the seat is a little different. Cool thing is, this rack is exactly the same size as the front rack. So anything that's on the front or back can swip swap either way. They did away with the hand guards, or I'm sorry, like the handlebars on here, and they put them onto the seat, which is awesome because when you remove the seat, you have a completely flush loading surface. There's 6 degrees of flex in the actual backrest, so it's even better, if you can imagine that. And you just pull this little guy, and I mean, real easy. Just gets right out of the way. And you have this, you know, this completely flush loading surface, and then they still structure it where this guy goes right in its place, like so. You know, and I won't seal it up or anything, but you still have a, you know, a flush loading surface, which is really nice. It's a lot better than the previous setup. Really nice thing, this one's about to go out the door. So the battery would be right here. So the battery is just sitting sideways. It's a maintenance free, so it can sit like that. You know, factory tool kit right here. You got brake fluid reservoir, a little software plug-in. One of the most beautiful things about this quad, though, is it's easily the fastest access air cleaner cover out there. You just lift this up, you turn it, and I mean that's it. I mean, you know, that's unbelievably easy. You know, some of these new machines, it just takes you a while to just even find that. You know. Once you take it off, there we go. You just gotta kind of find how it sits on there, and this just pressurizes it right onto the little seal. It takes just a little bit of doing because it's got to be really precise, but there it goes. It's back on. And yeah, the seat just pops right back on. The 650, this is actually definitely going to be the most popular model this year. We're having a hard time keeping 13s in stock. Like I said, this one's going away. So small piece of advice, if you're looking for one of these things, I don't even think they'll be around by the time the 14s come out, which is usually July. So yeah, definitely, I know if you're thinking about it, definitely get in on that list. But yeah, it's still 62 horsepower on the 650. The 500 actually gained a lot of horsepower. It went from 40 to 46, which puts it actually only 3 horsepower away from like a King Quad 750 in their 500. So yeah, you're looking at you know, really impressive machines, and they've still got all the fit and finish you'd expect. The digitally encoded keys, the steel brake lines, and of course the trailing arm suspension, which has been revised. And of course now you have they did incorporate a 2-inch receiver stock, which is great. You know, 1,300 pound towing capacity is still what they go off of for all the V-twin models. So yeah, it's just a nice tidy setup. Still doing the Carlisle radials on the XT package. So just a very nice improvement. They really didn't have much to improve upon, but they acknowledged just about every little, you know, little complaint we may have had about the previous version. So very nice machine. That's the 2013 Outlander Max 650 XT. Again, John Matz, Ecklund Motorsports Appleton. If you have any questions, 920-734-7134. All right, we'll see you later.